to some fellow YouTubers out there. I want you guys to do the same type of video. Show your subscribers, show me, you know, what you guys get in your vehicle. I want to see what your guys' MPGs are. So I'm going to throw some names out there. Hopefully you guys accept the challenge, and hopefully we can see the video. So let's start off with the black ScatPack. Jason, Autofocus. Robert, YouTubing on a budget. Todd, SRT Mud. Let's go, John, SRT John Boy. Let's go, Snowcat. Don Juan, I know you don't have your ScatPack no more, but I do know you got that VW, so let's go, John, SRT John Boy. Let's go, Snowcat.
Challenge accepted.
Don Juan.
About now we're looking at 14 miles per gallon. The reason mine's been sitting so low for so long was because on Christmas Day I went and did some donuts and I haven't really driven the thing far. So this is about the worst miles per gallon I've ever gotten out of this car, and I'm about to drive about 70 miles. So I'm gonna see if these numbers actually improve, because I've noticed, even with how I normally drive in the city, the last couple times I filled it up, with it being in this range, well, of course it's going to consume a lot more fuel, but I don't know why it hasn't calibrated over to where it's got to the point to where, you know, it gets better miles, get better fuel range as I, you know, driven around. But I don't know, I think I got an interesting theory of why it didn't do that. But I'm gonna keep track of how it's gonna do once I leave the city, get back on the highway, and yeah, just stay tuned. Oh, right about now we about, I'll say, over 20 some miles in. You already know when you get on the highway, you can put it in the cruise. I'm running 5 over, you know, at 75 miles an hour. The MPGs naturally get better, and then with the fact that I have eco mode set up on here, and then it's in 4-cylinder mode since I have the 8-speed. That's helping it out a lot. But I'll give my opinion of everything once I get to the end of the video, explaining some of the theories and thoughts that I come up with. And as you see, it kicked out of 4-cylinder mode because I was climbing a hill. I'll get back to you a little bit later. Alright, right about now I'm getting pretty close to where I'm getting off the highway at, and average pretty much about 16 miles per gallon for this trip. But the only reason because of that is when I started out I was at like in the high 13 range, right at 14 miles per gallon. I would normally average a lot better. As you see right now where the current is at, well in the 20s. And what I'm starting to notice is as long as you're riding around with that set average, I guess I would assume that the computer right about now is consuming fuel at the rate that you're riding around, what your average is. So if you were to reset, and you know, if you're averaging around 20 something, when you reset it and refill up, you know, it'll start consuming fuel at that rate versus where you're at right now. And of course, you know, the more you get up on it and whatnot, that average is gonna go down. But for right now, when you're trying to build that average back up on the highway, it's still the fuel range doesn't quite change, because when I started out, it was at like 140-ish, give or take. So it will stay, that number will either stay in that range or go up a couple gallons, and then as it, you know, calibrates itself and, you know, evens itself back out, that's when the number will decrease. Like, that's the reason I'm sitting at 135 right now. But the only reason I started out at like 13 was, like I said, you know, a while back I did some donuts and I haven't driven the car much ever since. So, you know, it was still stuck in that range of consuming fuel at that rate, even though when I would normally drive around the city, it'd be about 16-17 miles per gallon. So I think these systems up in here are very touchy, and you already know it goes by, you know, it'll calibrates to about how you drive, you know, your driving style and all that. So I think a good way to probably get around that is to, you know, reset the fuel average and, you know, just drive around like how you normally would, unless you live in a real big city somewhat like LA, where it's pretty much impossible to really get decent gas mileage just driving around. But I'm gonna clear everything out, fill up, and on my way back down I will come back at you. Y'all already know why I'm here. I'm probably about 20 miles back going down the road. It's still holding that right around 240 miles on my fuel range. And I've noticed something some of y'all might know as well, but when I put it in sport mode, you'll notice that it automatically goes out of 4-cylinder mode and all 8 will be engaged. But I'm gonna put it back in my default, which is my eco mode, and you'll see it goes right back into 4-cylinder mode, and you can actually hear the hum right when it goes into 4-cylinder mode. But yeah, this is normally what I would average, you know, just cruising around the city as it is. So I just thought I'd mention that too. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already know when you put it in a custom drive mode, such as, you know, a track or a sport, that it automatically turns that that eco mode, well, or whatever your default is if you got the automatics, that 4-cylinder shutdown into 8, and then you'll just be riding normally. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that bit of an update with you. I'm pulling up at some undisclosed location, and look what I see right there. The dude that offered me this challenge. Hey, he's probably at work right now. Let me go up here and see what he's talking about. Alright everybody, I'm back further end of this MPG challenge, and I've done some more riding in the city and on the highway again, and I'm sitting at 21.4. It's a hell of a lot better than that 13.9 or 14 that I started out with. And it's just amazing how in the automatics with your driving, or with the engine this big, that 4-cylinder shutdown and that eco mode, how much of a difference that it can really make with your gas mileage. And I normally average around, like I said, about 16, 17 in the city when I used to drive it pretty often. And on the highway, I've seen up to about 25. And I didn't bother to reset it this time around when I, put some fuel up in here when I last stopped. But one thing I will notice that would help, like that fuel range go up, is if you've been riding on the highway and you can get it set to about, where it can average about 20, anywhere from, I'll say about 23, 25, 26. And if you can reset it and get that MPG average to say that, and when you go to fill up, you will notice that your fuel range will go up tremendously. But you already know as you get down into it a lot more that number will plummet very fast. But yeah, that's just in case if you was wondering, even though if if you was already averaging like 16, 17 and you started driving better and your number's still low when you go to fill it up, it's still, it still has it to where, where it was used to driving in the city. So I think by resetting it, it also helps in the long run when you're trying to conserve a little bit of fuel. But I don't think too many of us are too concerned about that. But that's just in case if somebody's out there in the market for one of these and wonder how do the automatics do on fuel. But it is what it is. And Dave, I'm sorry it took so long for me to answer your challenge, but life gets in the way sometimes, and then part of that was me being lazy. So I will scroll through my menu and show you the next challenge I've been issued, not top speed. No. All right, if you're looking at that right now, you already know what my next challenge is going to be. I was issued this challenge by a fellow YouTuber, all around cool guy from what I know, my boy Brew Motor Production. And he's been doing his 0 to 60 challenge. He challenged me, my boy Shaka 252, Mike MDG Collections, and FP 2000, a few others I want to say. And right now, that 4.5 is the best that I've done with this car. But that's when I put the 275s, the tires that's currently on my car. And I haven't come close since then. But that's just giving you a preview of the next challenge I will be doing. So stay tuned to that. But at the same time, don't really hold your breath either. This is the old black ScatPack. I'm getting out of here until next time. Y'all take it easy.